The clock on the microwave reads 4:47 a.m. I know this without looking up. I've been standing here long enough to memorize every small sound this kitchen makes in the dark. The refrigerator's low hum, the pipe that ticks behind the wall, the particular silence that follows when the heating system finally quits for the night. I'm holding my wedding ring between my thumb and forefinger. It's lighter than I remember. Lena is gone. Another work trip. I stopped asking where, stopped asking anything really, sometime around year 5. That's what the end of a marriage actually looks like. Not the screaming. Not the thrown dishes or the dramatic confessions. It looks like a man standing alone in his own kitchen at 4:47 in the morning, turning a gold ring over in his fingers and feeling absolutely nothing except a quiet, terrible relief. 7 years. I keep thinking the number should feel heavier. It didn't end with one betrayal. I want to be clear about that. There was no single night, no single moment I can point to and say, that's where we broke. It was smaller than that. 1,000 small disappearances. The anniversary she forgot twice, then forgot to feel sorry about. The way she'd roll her eyes at dinner parties when I was mid-sentence. Just slightly, just enough for everyone to see except me, until one night I finally saw it too. The phone call I wasn't supposed to hear, Lena on speakerphone with her friends, laughing in that loose, wine-warm way she never laughed with me anymore. "Ethan's safe," she'd said. Not exciting. But safe. I'd stood in the hallway for a long time after that. I never told her I heard. That was probably the moment I understood we were already over. Not because of what she said, but because I didn't even want to confront her about it. I just went to bed. I filed quietly. No lawyers screaming at each other across conference tables. No dramatic confrontation at the door. I went alone on a Tuesday morning to the county courthouse, filled out the paperwork, slid it across a desk to a clerk who didn't look up, and then I stood before Judge Patricia Owens. She looked at me for a long moment when she realized I was alone. No attorney, no Lena, no anyone. I couldn't read her expression exactly. It might have been pity. It might have been something closer to recognition. Like she'd seen this particular kind of quiet before. The signed papers are on the counter now. I placed them there 10 minutes ago next to the ring. They look ordinary. They look like a grocery list or a gas bill. That bothered me for a second. Then it didn't. I have one suitcase by the door. After 7 years inside these walls, I'm leaving with one suitcase and the understanding that I spent most of my marriage slowly disappearing, one forgotten word, one rolled eye, one unanswered question at a time, until there was almost nothing left of me to find. Almost. I pause at the front door with my hand on the frame. I hope you find what you were looking for, Lena. My voice sounds strange in the dark. She isn't here to hear it, and that's fine. I wasn't really saying it for her. I open the door. Cold air moves against my face like something honest. I step outside. Behind me the lock clicks shut, soft, final, small. Exactly like everything else. Marcus's porch light is on when I pull up. He's already at the door before I cut the engine, standing there in a flannel shirt and work boots like it's noon instead of somewhere past 7 in the morning. His hands are coffee-stained where they're usually oil-stained. Small difference. He doesn't say anything. He just steps forward, wraps both arms around me and holds on. I didn't realize how much I needed that until it was already happening. His garage is warmer than the house. Marcus always preferred it that way. 2 folding chairs, a space heater, a coffee maker on a plywood shelf between a socket wrench set and a stack of car and driver magazines from 2011. We've had every important conversation of our lives in this garage. "You look thin," he says, handing me a mug. "I'm fine." "I didn't ask if you were fine. I said you look thin." I almost smile. Still the same. Always. He settles into his chair and watches me over the rim of his mug. So it's done. Papers are on the counter. Rings with the papers. He nods slowly, the way Marcus nods when he already knows what he thinks but is deciding how hard to say it. I've known that nod my entire life. "Go ahead," I say. "I never liked her, Ethan." "I know. Not because she was evil or whatever. Not like that." He sets his mug down on the concrete floor. "Because she made you smaller. Every time I saw you two together, there was less of you than the time before. You know what I mean." "I do know." I just nod. "You remember that Christmas, 2 years ago, maybe 3? He leans forward, elbows on his knees. "Dinner at Mom's. You were telling that story about the Hendrix project, and she stopped you mid-sentence to correct your grammar. In front of everyone. Just corrected you. Like you were a student. Marcus. And you laughed it off. You laughed. That's what got me. You'd already learned to laugh it off. The coffee is too hot but I drink it anyway. I was used to it by then. That's a terrible thing to be used to. He's not wrong. He's never wrong about things like this, which is both his best quality and his most exhausting one. What about Derek Holloway? He says, quieter now. My jaw tightens. What about him? Her company gala. 3 years running she brought him as her +1. Called him just a colleague. He was a colleague. Marcus looks at me with the particular patience of someone who loves you enough not to call you a liar directly. Ethan. I know, I say finally. I always knew something was wrong. I start again. I was more afraid of the answer than the question. Yeah. He picks his mug back up. I know you were. We sit with that for a while. The space heater clicks. Outside, a bird starts testing the morning. I have a friend, Marcus says eventually. Owns a property down in Crestview. Coastal town, small, quiet. Nobody bothers anybody. He'd let you stay cheap while you figure things out. That sounds like hiding. Does it? He tilts his head. Or does it sound like breathing room? Marcus, I can't just disappear. New place, new number, no. New phone. New start. He says it simply, like it's obvious. You've been disappearing for 7 years inside that marriage. At least this time you'd be choosing it. I look at my hands wrapped around the mug. They look like my father's hands. I never noticed that before. Marcus reaches over and grabs my shoulder, firm, steady, the way he used to when we were kids and I was scared of something I couldn't name. You're not running away, Ethan, he says. You're finally running toward yourself. I exhale. Okay, I say. Okay. By morning, I'm back on the road, heading toward a town where nobody knows my name, and for the first time in years, that feels like freedom instead of erasure. I didn't learn what happened on Lena's side until I was gone long enough for my life to feel like someone else's rumor. It came to me in pieces, voicemails I never received because my number was dead, screenshots from friends, and later, a letter that arrived like a bruise reopening. Marcus forwarded the first screenshot with, "Don't call her. Just know." It was from Nina Torres, the friend who used to toast Lena for landing a husband who won't wander. The timestamp was 3 months after the divorce finalized. Nina had written, "Ethan, are you alive?" Lena's saying something insane. She says she woke up yesterday. Yesterday, according to her, wasn't yesterday. It was the day before I signed the papers. A second screenshot followed, a transcript Nina pasted from a voicemail Lena left her while driving. "Nina, listen to me," Lena said, breathless over road noise. I know how this sounds. I remember the courthouse. I remember Judge Owens looking at me like I was a stranger. I remember Ethan's phone going dead. I remember Derek disappearing the moment I stopped being married. I remember my apartment being so quiet I could hear the refrigerator click. And now I'm back. I'm back before he signs. I'm going home. I'm going to fix it. I read that, trying to picture Lena saying my name like it mattered again. The bitterness came first, then a numb curiosity. The next piece was from my old coworker Jared, who messaged Marcus on LinkedIn because he couldn't find me anywhere else. "Tell Ethan," Jared wrote, "Lena came back from her trip early. She showed up at the office looking wrecked, asking if anyone had heard from him. Then she left like she'd remembered where she forgot her heart." That line stuck with me because it was the closest anyone had ever come to naming what she did. She forgot me daily, casually, with confidence. The rest I got from Lena's letter months later, the one Nina pushed through Claire to Marcus to me. Lena didn't plead. She reconstructed. She wrote, 3 months after the divorce, I woke up on the morning before you left. I still had your toothbrush in the cup. I still had the chance. In her pages, I watched her sprint toward me. I heard it in her sentences, the rehearsed apologies, the plan to tear up the papers, the promise to see you, really see you. She wrote about her mother. Vivian told me I'd find someone better in a week, Lena said. I believed her until I sat alone with a disconnected dial tone and realized better doesn't mean anything when you're empty. Derek got his own paragraph and I could taste my own old denial reading it. He chased me when I was taken, she wrote. When I was free, he vanished. Then Lena described arriving home, breathless, keys shaking. The house was dark, she wrote. Your side of the closet was half empty. Your ring was on the counter like a period. The papers were stacked beside it. I called your name anyway. The walls didn't answer. I sat with that image for a long time. Lena standing in our kitchen in the dark, finally awake, holding the evidence of my exit. Part of me wanted satisfaction. What I felt instead was distance, like watching a storm recede over water. Even time apparently offered her mercy. It just didn't offer speed. 7 years of damage moved faster than any miracle could. She could wake up with the whole future in her head, and she still couldn't beat 4:47 a.m. I don't hate Lena. I hate what we practiced together. Her indifference, my obedience, Derek Holloway's shadow taking up space, Vivian Marsh's voice teaching her that love is a competition you win by withholding. But the ring on the counter wasn't a question anymore. It was my answer. When I finally heard her, really heard her, it was already from far away, and that was the only way it could be. I folded the letter, set it down, and let the universe keep its second chances. I was done. Salt hit my lungs the second I stepped out of the car in Crestview, sharp and clean. The ocean was a dark band beyond the road, murmuring like it knew my name even if nobody else did. A bell jingled when I pushed into the hardware store. "You Ethan Dean?" a man asked. "Yeah. I'm Hal." Marcus called. He nodded toward the stairs. "Studio's up there. You got first month." "I do." He slid a key across the counter. "No parties, no smoking. If the water heater knocks, kick it once." I blinked. "That's your maintenance plan?" "It's my successful maintenance plan." He had my suitcase. "Need a hand?" "No. Thanks." Hal's voice dropped. "Kind. Quiet town. Sometimes quiet helps. Sometimes it hurts. Either way, you're welcome." Upstairs, the studio was modest and honest. A bed, a desk by the window, and a kitchen that barely qualified as one. I set my suitcase down and listened. Nothing. No sigh. No voice turning my presence into an inconvenience. My phone felt heavy in my pocket. I called Marcus before I could stall. He answered fast. "You there?" "I'm here." "Place okay?" "It's small." "Good. Less to clean." Pause. "You eat?" "Not yet." "Go eat," he said. "Then lock the door and breathe." "I'll try." "Don't try. Do it." His tone softened. "I'm proud of you." I swallowed. "Don't start." "Too late." Then, "Claire wants you." Her voice came on warm and steady. "Ethan?" "Hey." "Marcus is acting tough," she said. "So I'll say it plain. How do you feel?" I looked at the blank wall above the bed. "Like I'm trespassing in my own life." "You're not," she said. "You're moving back into it." I didn't answer, and she filled the silence. "You deserve to be someone's first choice, Ethan. Not their safety net." My throat tightened. "Claire, just let it be true," she said. "Okay. Okay." Marcus grabbed the phone again. "Call tomorrow. If you don't, I'm driving down and sitting on your floor." "I'll call." "Sleep if you can," he said, and hung up. I sat on the bed and stared at my suitcase until my eyes burned. The first sob came out like a cough. Then it kept coming. I cried for the house I left, for the man I became inside it, for how long I mistook being tolerated for being loved. I went downstairs later, cheeks tight from crying. Hal was pouring coffee into a paper cup. "You look like you lost a fight," he said. "I did," I told him. He pushed a bowl across the counter. "So, on the house. I can pay." "Not for this." I ate standing up. Hal nodded toward the door. "Walk after. Ocean's good for the head." "You sure?" "I live here." "I'm sure." That night I lay awake on the bed and said, "Nobody's coming home." The sentence sounded wrong, but body needed to hear it. I kept drafting texts. Made it. "Miss you." "Forget it." Each time I deleted, my thumb lingering over send like a reflex looking for pain. The first week moved in fragments. On day 2 I walked the beach and muttered, "Just one more step," like I was dragging myself out of deep water. On day 3 I woke at 4:47, reached for my phone and whispered, "Lena," before my brain caught up and said, "No. Not anymore." At night the silence felt holy, then terrifying, then holy again. I kept the window cracked so I could hear the ocean insisting the world was still moving forward. On day 7 I went back downstairs and bought a cheap notebook. Hal rang it up. "You gonna write your comeback story?" "I don't know." He nodded like that was enough. "Start with today." Upstairs, I opened to the first page and wrote one line, pressing hard. Day 1 of being a person again. 2 weeks into Crestview, I followed the smell of roasted beans down the pier and found a narrow cafe with a hand-painted sign, Anchor. I hesitated at the door like I needed permission to exist, then went in. A woman behind the counter looked up. "Morning. What can I get you?" "Black coffee," I said. "No room." "Bold." She grabbed a mug. "You knew." "Is it that obvious?" "It's the way you're looking at the menu like it might bite." She slid the mug over. "I'm Sophia." "Ethan." "Sophia Reyes," she added like names mattered here. "You from the city?" "Outside it." She studied me without rushing. Running from something or toward something? I almost laughed. Just relocating. Relocating, she repeated and didn't make it sound like a joke. There's a table by the window. Ocean view comes free with existential dread. I sat and the ocean did its steady work. When I got up to leave, Sophia called, "Hey Ethan." I turned. "Anchor closes at 6. If you show up at 6:05, I'll pretend I didn't see you. But only once." "Deal?" I said and surprised myself by meaning it. The next day I came back at 9. Sophia pointed at my empty hands. "No suitcase today. Progress. Don't tempt fate." She poured coffee. "So, outside the city. That's evasive. It's also true." She leaned on the counter. "Okay, Mr. True. You got a job?" "Not yet." "Friends?" "My brother. His wife." "Partner?" Her voice stayed casual. "No." Something flickered in her eyes, recognition, not pity. "Good. Bad. Complicated?" "All three." A guy in a rain jacket stepped up behind me. Sophia straightened. "Be right with you." Then to me, quieter, "If you want food, Marcy makes the scones. If you want therapy, I charge more." "I'll take a scone," I said. On the 4th day she set my mug down and nodded at the notebook in my bag. "You writing?" "Trying." "About what?" I shrugged. "How quiet it is." She smiled. "Quiet can be loud when you're not used to being alone." "I wasn't alone," I said, then wished I hadn't. Sophia didn't pounce. She just asked, "Were you heard?" The question landed like a weight. I stared at my coffee. "Not really." She wiped the counter in slow circles. "People think yelling is the opposite of love. Sometimes indifference is." I swallowed. "You talk like you've been there." "I have." She tapped her ringless hand on the wood. 3 years ago I left a relationship that made me feel like a piece of furniture. Pretty furniture, sure, but still furniture. I came here, bought this place with savings and spite, and learned how to breathe again. That's a sentence. "I'm good at sentences," she said. "Bad at choosing men." I let out a real laugh, small but real. "Same. Different category," she corrected. "But yeah." On the 6th day the cafe was crowded, and I ended up sharing the counter space with my own nerves. Sophia slid me a napkin and a pen. "If you're going to stare at my walls, at least critique them." "I'm not critiquing." "Then what are you doing?" I looked at the high ceiling beams, the mismatched chairs, the way the light from the front window hit the chalkboard menu. My hand moved without asking my permission. Lines. Angles. A better layout. I shaded the corner where a plant could live. Sophia appeared beside me. "You draw." I stopped, embarrassed. "It's nothing." She took the napkin gently like it was fragile. "This isn't nothing. It's just a sketch. It's a good sketch." She glanced at me. "What did you do before you relocated?" I hesitated. "Architecture. Sort of. A long time ago." Her eyebrows lifted. "Then do it again." "I don't even know if I can." Sophia handed the napkin back. "You can. Your hand already did." I stared at the ink smudged on my thumb. My chest felt tight, not with grief this time, but with something that wanted to live. Sophia lowered her voice. "You know what I learned? The people who make you feel invisible aren't evil. They're just so full of themselves that there's no room left for you." I nodded because it was the truest thing anyone had said to me in years. "Same time tomorrow?" she asked. "Yeah," I said. "Same time." And for once, I wasn't promising myself pain again at all. 1 month after I arrived, I finally stopped pretending I could white-knuckle my way into being okay. Sophia slid me my coffee and said, "You look like you're carrying a backpack full of rocks." "I'm fine," I told her. She pointed at the pier outside. "Fine doesn't flinch at seagulls." I gave her a look. "Therapy," she said like it was the name of a street. "Ray Caldwell. 2 blocks over. He drinks coffee here. He won't let you hide." "I'm not hiding," I said. She lifted an eyebrow. "Then go prove it." Ray's waiting room was quiet enough to hear my pulse. When he opened the door, he looked like someone the ocean had taught patience. Salt and pepper beard, soft voice, steady eyes. "Ethan?" he asked. "Yeah. I'm Ray. Come on." I sat, hands locked. He didn't start with my childhood or a clipboard. He said, "Why now?" "Because if I don't talk to someone, I'm going to crawl back into the same life," I said. "Back to Lena." I nodded. Ray leaned forward. "Tell me what you miss." "That's the problem," I said. "I don't miss her. I miss not feeling like a failure." He let that land. "When did you start calling yourself that?" Somewhere between her eye rolls and my apologies, I said. Give me a specific. I stared at the carpet. I used to design. Real designs. Buildings that made sense. And you stopped. Lena told me my ideas were cute, I said. Cute but impractical. She said corporate work was stability. So I took corporate work. Ray asked, did you like it? No. Did she? She liked saying we were stable. Ray nodded once. What else did you stop? My friends, I said. She called them a bad influence. She said they made me immature. What did you do? I stopped answering group chats. I stopped showing up. Ray's voice stayed calm. What did you start doing more of? Everything, I said, and my laugh was sharp. Cooking. Cleaning. Bills. Calendar reminders. Her mother's birthday gift. The dog's vet appointments. And in return? I swallowed. At a dinner party, she laughed when someone called me lazy. Because I didn't have a corporate title. Ray sat back. How did you respond? I smiled, I said. I made a joke. I went home and scrubbed the kitchen like it would fix me. Ray was quiet, then asked, Ethan, did you lose yourself or did you give yourself away? I blinked. What's the difference? The first is an accident, he said. The second is a strategy. A donation. Piece by piece. Hoping it buys love. My throat burned. It didn't. No, he agreed. It bought permission to stay. The next sessions were less dramatic and more brutal. Ray would say, name what you wanted, and I'd say, to be chosen. He'd say, name what you feared, and I'd say, to be left. He'd say, name what you did, and I'd say, I disappeared first. One afternoon my laptop chimed during a break, and I saw an email subject line, found you. I opened it with my heart in my teeth. Tom Ingwin wrote, Ethan Dean? It's Tom. Your old studio design for the Riverside Library popped up in a portfolio thread. I've been trying to reach you. Are you working? I run Ingwin Atelier now. We need freelance help. Remote. But interested. I read it twice, then a third time like the words might evaporate. I called Ray. You're calling me outside session, he said. I got an email, I blurted. Tom Ingwin. Architecture. A job. Ray didn't congratulate me. He asked, what do you feel? Terror, I said. I haven't designed anything serious in 5 years. And yet your hand drew that cafe sketch, he said. What's the story you're telling yourself? That I'll fail. That I'll prove Lena right. Ray's voice sharpened slightly. Lena doesn't get to grade your life anymore. I exhaled. So I should say yes. You should choose the thing that makes you bigger, he said. Then tolerate the discomfort. I emailed Tom back. Yes. Can we talk? He called 10 minutes later. Ethan? Man, you vanished. I needed to, I said. Tom didn't pry. I've got a small community project in Oregon. Concept phase. You in? I'm rusty, I warned. I saw your work, Tom said. Rust wipes off. I smiled despite myself. Okay. I'm in. That night I sat at my desk by the window, ocean noise under the keys, and opened a blank file. My first line was ugly. The second was better. By midnight I had a plan. In the glass my reflection looked unfamiliar, upright, focused, alive again. I barely recognized myself. And I think that's the point. Months later Nina sent Marcus a folder named Lena, like it was evidence. Marcus didn't comment, just forwarded it to me with, read if you need closure. Don't let it reopen you. The first audio transcript was from the courthouse lobby. I need to contest it, Lena told a clerk. There's been a mistake. My husband filed, but I'm here now. I'm here. The clerk's voice stayed flat. Ma'am, the dissolution was processed. Final order entered. That's impossible, Lena said. He signed yesterday. He hasn't signed yet. A chair scraped. Someone walked closer. Judge Patricia Owens, I realized later. Ms. Marsh, Judge Owens said, not unkind, Mr. Dean filed earlier than you think. He filed complete paperwork and a waiver of appearance. I didn't waive anything, Lena snapped. You did not need to, the judge replied. He anticipated delay. He met every requirement. The order stands. So that's it. Lena asked, smaller. You're telling me I don't even get to speak? You're speaking, Judge Owens said. I'm listening. It doesn't change the law. The next file was a screenshot of Lena's call log, my old number over and over, followed by Nina's text. She kept dialing even after the disconnect. Nina had typed out what Lena said between tones. Ethan, pick up. Please. I remember everything. I'm sorry. I'm coming home. Then the mechanical voice, the number you have dialed. Then another, Ethan, I'm at the courthouse. They said it's done. How can it be done? Tone. Voice. Deadline. She drove to Marcus's place next. Nina wrote, she showed up at his door like she was bleeding. I could hear my brother in the transcript Nina recorded on her phone, because Marcus doesn't whisper when he's angry. Marcus, Lena said. Please. Tell me where he is. Marcus answered, you don't get to use that voice with me. I made a mistake, she said. I can fix it. You had 7 years, Lena, Marcus said. 7 years to make one good man feel like he mattered. You don't get an 8th. Marcus, I love him. Then you should have acted like it, he said. Just tell me, she pleaded. I'll apologize. I'll do anything. Marcus's voice dropped hard. Anything would have been Tuesday nights. Anything would have been looking up when he talked. The recording ended with a dull thud and Nina's caption. Door shut. Lena went home and found the life I'd been quietly holding together. Nina described it to Marcus, and Marcus repeated it to me like he was reading a list of chores that should have been sacred. She opened the desk drawer, Marcus said, and there were folders. Taxes. Mortgage. Her car. Everything labeled. I pictured Lena's hands shaking over my tidy handwriting. Nina's message followed. She found your notes. She pulled a kitchen drawer open, Nina wrote, and there were folded papers like little secrets. Lena's voice in a later voicemail cracked. I never read them. I never even saw them. Nina transcribed what Lena read aloud, sobbing. I know you had a hard week. I'm proud of you. E. There was a long stretch of sound that wasn't words, just breath-breaking. Then Derek Holloway called her. Nina only heard it because Lena put him on speaker without realizing. So, Derek said, you're finally single. Lena swallowed. Don't call me. Why? Derek laughed. I waited, didn't I? All those late nights, all that flirting. Now you're free. I'm not a prize, Lena said. You're acting like you're grieving, Derek replied. He was boring, Lena. You told us that. My husband was kind, she said, and that word husband sounded like a wound. You were a distraction. Derek's tone sharpened. Don't rewrite history. I'm seeing it, Lena whispered and hung up. Vivian Marsh, her mother, tried to mop it up the way she always did, with contempt. Good riddance, Vivian said, according to Lena's later letter. You'll find someone better in a week. Stop, Lena said. Stop saying that like it's comfort. Vivian scoffed. He couldn't even keep you interested. Lena's voice rose. You taught me to treat love like leverage. You taught me that nothing is enough. Ethan was the best thing that ever happened to me and you poisoned it. A different voice cut in, older, tired. Arthur Marsh. I liked that boy, he said. He reminded me of myself when I was young, before your mother decided I wasn't enough either. Silence, Lena wrote. The kind that rearranges a room. And reading it I felt it too. Not victory. Just the quiet proof that some patterns survive on borrowed time until they don't. I sat with those files and heard my old house echoing. If time rewound for her, it still didn't rewind me. I was already gone, already building air. Claire called me after sunset. Ethan, you in your apartment? I'm here, I said. A woman came by, she said. Nina Torres. She asked for Marcus, then asked for me. She left an envelope. My pulse jumped. Lena's Nina? Her best friend, Claire said. Do you want it? Drop it with Marcus, I said. I'll drive over. You don't owe anyone your time, Claire warned. I'm not giving them time, I said. I'm taking information. Marcus handed me the envelope on his porch the next morning. Nina looked like she'd swallowed nails. What did she say? She said Lena wrote it herself. No lawyer. No tricks. Marcus held my gaze. I didn't read it. I'm not sure I can, I admitted. You can, he said. Just don't confuse reading with returning. Back in my studio I sat at my desk, the ocean breathing beyond the glass. The envelope felt heavier than paper. I broke the seal anyway. Lena's handwriting was tight, desperate. Ethan, she wrote. I don't know where you are. Your number is disconnected. Your email bounced. I'm sending this through Nina because she knows Claire from work friends. If you burn this, I'll understand. 3 months after the divorce was finalized, something impossible happened, she wrote. I woke up on the morning of the day before you signed. Same sheets. Same house. Same me, except I remembered everything. I remembered the courthouse. Judge Patricia Owens. The way she said final. I remembered the empty apartment afterward, the silence that made me feel insane. I remembered calling you until the phone told me you didn't exist. My jaw tightened. I remembered Derek Holloway, she wrote. How he chased me when I was married, then ghosted me when I was free. I remembered my mother Vivian saying, "You'll find someone better in a week," and how those words sounded like air in an empty room. I stopped, staring at Derek's name. Even on a page he took up space he never earned. I thought the reset was mercy, Lena wrote. I thought I could fix it if I moved fast enough. I left my work trip early. I drove like an apology could be a seatbelt. I rehearsed what I'd say to you at every red light. I'm sorry. I see you. Please don't go. My throat burned, but I kept reading. I planned to rip up the papers, she wrote. I planned to hold your face and tell you you mattered, because I finally understood that I had been treating you like a constant instead of a person. Then the handwriting loosened, like her hands started shaking. But when I opened the front door, the house was dark, she wrote. Your side of the closet was half empty. Your ring was on the counter like a period at the end of a sentence. The signed papers were stacked beside it. I called your name anyway. Nothing answered. I exhaled through my nose, steadying myself. I found your notes, she wrote. The ones you put in my lunch bag. They were still folded in the drawer. I never read them. Then I never read them. One said, I know you had a hard week. I'm proud of you. I don't know how to live with who I was. The next paragraph was plain, almost clinical. I'm in therapy, she wrote. Not to get you back. I don't deserve you back. I just need to understand how I became someone who could destroy a good thing without noticing. Her last lines were the only ones without explanation. I'm not asking for reconciliation, she wrote. I'm not asking to see you. I just want you to know that I finally see you. I see everything you were. And I'm sorry I made you believe you were invisible. I folded the letter and set it down. I waited for anger, for satisfaction, for grief. What came was a quiet no. I called Marcus. I read it. He exhaled. And? She's sorry, I said. I'm done. Good, he replied. Stay done for your sake, Ethan. I won't go back, I told the room. The ocean answered the way it always did, by just moving forward. 6 months after I drove into Crestview, I'm standing under a banner that reads Crestview Community Center, trying not to shake. My name is on a plaque and that feels like a dare. Sophia sets down a tray of lemon bars. Breathe, Ethan. I'm breathing. No, you're negotiating with oxygen. She points at the coffee urn. Smile. This is a party, not a sentencing. You're the one who catered it. I cater a lot of things, she says. Watching you accept praise is my newest hobby. The front doors bang open. Marcus walks in like he owns the place, Claire right behind him. Marcus lifts his chin at the plaque. Look at you. Building stuff again. Claire pulls me into a hug. We're so proud of you. I didn't know you two could whisper, I say. Marcus mutters, don't push it. Claire studies my face. How nervous are you, 1 to 10? 11. Sophia leans in. If you faint, I'm drawing a mustache on you. Threat received, I say. A town staffer taps the mic and waves me over. My stomach drops. Marcus grips my shoulder. Say what's true. I step up, palms slick. The room quiets. Hi, I say. I'm Ethan Dean. Thanks for coming. I swallow once. 6 months ago, I didn't think I had anything left to offer the world. Turns out, I just had to stop offering it to people who didn't want it. Applause breaks over me. I step back fast like I'm not sure I'm allowed to stay in it. Marcus wipes his face with his knuckles and pretends it's nothing. Don't, I whisper. He glares. It's dusty. Claire squeezes my arm and speaks close to my ear. She would never have let you have this moment. You know that, right? The old reflex flares. Defend Lena, soften it, make it less ugly. I let the reflex die. Yeah, I say. I know. Sophia hands me coffee. Drink. Your soul left your body and I needed to return before the photos. You're bossy, I tell her. I'm efficient, she says. Go talk to people. I do for an hour, shaking hands and hearing my own work described back to me, welcoming, thoughtful, needed. Each compliment lands like proof I wasn't crazy for wanting more than survival. When the crowd thins, my phone buzzes. Unknown number. I tense. Text Nina Torres. Got a minute? I walk outside to the steps, away from voices, closer to sea air. I type, yes. Nina replies. I'm not asking you to do anything. I just think you should know what's happening. I stare at the screen, heart thudding like I'm about to be called into court again. Nina keeps going. Derek Holloway moved on to another married woman. Vivian and Arthur are separating. Arthur finally said what he swallowed for years. Lena quit her job after a public breakdown. She's in therapy now, real therapy. I'm back in the city for one thing, signatures. The receptionist at Hollis & Klein looks up. Name? Ethan Dean. She types. You're early. I didn't want traffic to have a vote. She smiles politely. Mr. Klein will see you. In the conference room, a man in a gray suit stands. Mr. Dean. I'm Aaron Klein. I shake his hand. Thanks for keeping it simple. That was your instruction, he says, sliding a folder toward me. Sale of the property, division as stipulated, no further claims. I open it. My initials stare back at me from every corner. Lena signed? She executed her portion last week, he says. No objections. I nod like that doesn't sting. So this is final. It has been final, he replies, gentle but firm. Today is paperwork catching up. I pick up the pen. Anything I should know before I sign? You understand the proceeds will be wired to the accounts you designated, he says. You understand you waive occupancy effective today. You understand you will not contact opposing counsel after closing. I understand, I say. He watches me. Do you have questions, Mr. Dean? I think about asking, did she cry, did she look for me, did she regret it? Instead I say, no. He nods. Then sign here, here, and here. The pen scratches. I feel oddly calm, like I'm signing a death certificate that was issued a year ago. Aaron gathers the pages. Congratulations. I let out a dry laugh. That's a weird word. It's a legal reflex, he admits. For what it's worth, you handled this cleanly. Clean isn't the same as easy, I say. I know, he says, and holds my gaze a moment longer than necessary. Take care of yourself. Outside, the air smells like exhaust and old habits. I walk to my car and sit without turning the key. My phone buzzes with a calendar reminder I forgot to delete. Lena's mother's birthday. Vivian Marsh. I stare at it and whisper, not my job. I swipe it away and start driving. Marcus calls through the car speakers. You out? Just left. You sign everything? Yeah. Good. Don't do something stupid like drive by the house. I grip the wheel. I wasn't going to. Ethan, he says softer, you already said goodbye once. You don't owe it a second funeral. I hear you. Straight to Crestview. Straight to Crestview, I repeat. He pauses. And eat something. Claire packed snacks in your trunk. I don't plan to pass the house. My hands do it anyway, turning the wheel like muscle memory has its own map. I park across the street and kill the engine. The place looks smaller than it did when we moved in. I can still hear Lena on that first day, barefoot on the hardwood, laughing and saying, our forever home. I remember paint on my wrists, her music too loud, me dancing badly just to make her laugh. I remember the dog barking at the rollers, terrified and offended, and Lena scooping him up and saying, he's dramatic like you. I breathe out. We were happy, I tell the steering wheel. For a while. My phone buzzes again. Unknown number. I open the message. I saw your building in the architecture magazine. It's beautiful. You were always more than I let you be. My thumb hovers over the keyboard. I could type thank you. I could type I hope you're okay. I could type please stop. Every option feels like reopening a door I fought to close. I lock my phone. I start the car. At the stop sign I catch one last glimpse of the porch light fixture I replaced, the mailbox I repainted, the window I used to stand at waiting for a car that rarely came. Goodbye, I say, not to Lena but to the version of me that stayed. I turned toward the highway. She came back in time to save us. But the thing about time is, it doesn't care about what you want. It only moves forward. And so do I. I turn up the radio. The road stretches ahead, wide and open. I don't look back. Not once.